friends, welcome to Honest Violets. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel, or if you're for the first time on my channel, please subscribe and click on the bell button to be notified of all the videos that I post about plants and gardening every week. And today we're here because we have this wonderful Ceropegia woodii and we're going to repot it and propagate it. So stay with me and we are starting. Well, this plant here, it's actually also called string of hearts, just because of the shape of the leaves, and see how long it is. It's about 2 meters long. It grows quite fast. Well, it's succulent-like plant, but it's not a succulent, which means that you need to kind of treat and grow it as if it's a succulent, but it's not really a succulent by its definition. And so it was growing, hanging just like this in this tiny pot, and you see how long it is, which means it doesn't need a very big pot. But of course, if you want to grow it into a fuller plant, then I decided to also propagate it and repot it. So we will repot it here and we will propagate it in this pot. So let me just quickly tell you about some care tips. Well, as I've already mentioned, it's a succulent-like plant, which means the watering, the light should be as if you're growing a succulent. So the water, it means that you will need to water it thoroughly and then let the soil get dry between the waterings. That's really important. And they don't like to really this wet or, moist soil all the time. The light, well, here you need to be careful because they do like very bright light, but it doesn't mean full sun. So maybe you can grow it, if you grow it indoors, maybe you can just put it just 1 meter far from the window. But again, based on your climate, you will need to feel where it feels good. So if you will grow like me in a hanging pot, well, maybe it's a good idea if you just turn it all the time so that it grows in all directions. As you see, it wonderfully blooms too. It has very nice shape. The flowers are very interesting. And what's more unique even about these plants, they actually have tubers. And the tubers, now that I will take this plant out of the pot, you will see that the tubers are formed by the root, but also this plant grows tubers on the stems, and they actually grow where the nodes are. So one of the methods of propagation is if you just take that node and put it on the surface, just not too deep, on the surface of the soil, it will grow roots, and this is one of the methods of propagation. The second is you can cut from anywhere the stems and put it either in the soil or in the water or directly in the soil. This can be the second way of propagation. Well, now you need to be just careful to remember the direction of the growth, because if you put it upside down, well, this will not work. And the third method I have learned from Cara in-house green plants, that I'm going to put the link in the description of her video, so that maybe you would like to also check how she was doing this. And she was also growing the variegated string of hearts. So if you would like to see her method and what I'm going actually to try now for the first time in that method, well, check her channel out. Alright, so as for the soil, I'm going to plant and actually propagate in the same mixture. So this will be a mixture of this cactus soil together with lechuza, together with perlite, just to make it well drained. And of course the pots will have lots of holes. This is very important, not to get them, not to make them get rotten and actually grow perfectly. Well, the problem, or the most unpleasant thing about this plant, I think you would agree with me, is that because it tangles all the time. It just grows hanging. I untangle it, like, I don't know, spend maybe an hour untangle it, and then whenever there's a very slight wind, it gets together again and it tangles again. Even now you see that I just touch it and they just, okay, wherever. We'll be now making cuttings and propagating and also repotting. Well, for the beginning, let's prepare the soil. A little bit of lechuza, a little bit of cactus soil. Well, actually this will be a little bit more than the other parts, than perlite or lechuza. But I never have some, proportions. I just do it all, approximately. Alright, so let's get started. First, let's make some cuttings. Alright, because I want to grow it really like bushy, And let's start just from this part. Well, you see how tangled it is? I will just show you how to make cuttings and then I will try to untangle it. I don't want to, bore you with all this, the whole process. So even though it's blooming here, but that's totally fine, you can still do it, because to propagate this kind of plant, it's better to do it in the spring or in the summer. Because actually in the winter, well, by the end of the autumn and winter, this plant will get dormant. So this doesn't mean that the plant will get dry completely, but this just means that you will need to water it less. It will not grow as actively as in spring or summer. And maybe you can also provide more cooler environment for this plant. And from the spring it will start grow, you will start like watering more and more, and that's the life cycle of this plant. So to make cuttings, it's so easy. You just decide how long you want your cuttings to be, and then you make a clear cut here, just with sharp scissors, nothing special. So this is your first cutting, and now you can either remove this leaves, for example, and the flowers, of course, just like this. And you put it in the water or directly in the soil. It's absolutely up to you. So you need to just make sure that the node will be in the water, because the roots will be growing first of all from the nodes. All right, let's do another cutting. Now let's cut from here. And this is the time when you need to remember the direction. So it was growing like this, so we need to plant it again just like this, because if you turn it upside down, this will not work. Okay, so we are removing the leaves. Perfect. And again we can put it into the water. Whoops. Okay, so this way you can make as many cuttings as you want. It's totally up to you, and actually you can have 10 or 20 to have even a fuller pot, so to say. Okay, let me take some more cuttings and then I will come back to you, because it's so tangled, it will take a lot of time to just make cuttings. Instead of cutting, for example, all this kind of longer stems, we will be cutting just these two leaves, but they should be together. So it's really tangled. So of course we don't need the flowers, so you can remove the flowers easily. But so we make the cutting just for the leaves. So the two like double leaves should be together on the stem, and we cut it just like this. So again, we need to remember how it was growing to plant them in the right direction. So 1, and we will continue to make more to have the whole surface of the pots covered with these cuttings. Oh, that was really hard. Like I spent an hour untangling it and cutting it, and so this is what's left. We will be just repotting this part. Then we have, for propagation, these stems, which you can leave in the water, or you can like put them directly in the soil, which I'm going to do now. And also we have here these like double leaves, and we will also be propagating it now in another way. All right, 2 and 3. All right, now we need to take this plant out of this pot, which can be really hard because it's a ceramic pot. I cannot squeeze it. So I'm taking the spoon and I'm trying to go really soft and be really careful from the sides. And it goes out. Okay, from here I can maybe turn it. Well, now you see that the roots have this shape, just the shape of the pot, and now it's too much of the soil. Okay, a little bit more, and I'm going to put it just like this, a little bit, pushing it down a little bit. Cool. And now I will just add soil from the sides. From all the sides, so that we don't have air pockets. We need to like push the soil a little bit so that the plant also stays firm. And we add just a little bit from the surface, not too much, so that we will be able to water it. Just like this, tap a little bit. And our plant is ready. Now I will need to untangle these parts again and again, but for now this will be growing in this pot. Just hanging from somewhere. Alright, I can put it here maybe for now. So as I've told you, you can either leave the cuttings in the water just like this and wait till they will get roots, and then you can plant them. Or you can plant them just like this in the soil, water them thoroughly, and just wait for a couple of weeks till they will have some roots. Next portion. You can of course plant like, I don't know, 5 cuttings per pot as you wish. But if you want to have a bushier plant, like fuller pot, then it's better to, I don't know, to plant maybe 20 cuttings together. So they will come here. A little bit soil. Ready. The third method, you take your pot, put a little bit soil there, well, not a little bit, but up to the end, so to say. And now what we need to do is just to stick this kind of double leaves with a little bit of stem into the soil. And we actually need to make sure that it will be easier actually if the soil is a little bit flat. So we just take 2 leaves and we just stick them into the soil. And to keep them just in this position, we use the wires just like this. See, the leaves don't really let the stem, that node, stay on the surface of the soil, and that's exactly why we're using these wires, because you're doing just like this. Done. Easy. The next one. When they start to grow, we can of course remove the wires, but if you just let them stay there, it's also absolutely fine. So it's ready. As you can see, we have just fixed the double leaves together with the stem. With the help of the wire just on the surface of the soil, we will need just to keep it wet a little bit moist, not wet. And very soon we will see new growth. This will be a really bushy plant here in this pot. So my friends, we have done the job. So you can see here now I have 3 pots of this wonderful string of hearts. And this one in this yellow pot is just the repotted one. It will continue to grow and bloom as it was blooming. All of them will be growing hanging. And this one we propagated just from the cuttings, stems, a little bit like shorter stems. You can either put them in the water or in the soil. Well, here we have done directly in the soil, and we will just keep the soil a little bit moist. And after a couple of weeks, we will see new growth there. Or you can also propagate them just with double leaves with a little bit of stems. And what you can do here, you can use the wires to fix them on the surface of the soil, not to let the leaves go in the soil, not to get rotten. Keep it moist, put it in a light place, very bright place. And here as well, we will see growth in just a couple of weeks. Then you can remove the wires, or you can just leave them there. As you prefer, they will not harm your plant. Okay, so this is the process, the whole process and the whole work for today. I hope you liked the video. Please subscribe to my channel and click on the bell button to be notified of all the videos. I hope you will also repot your Ceropegia or Ceropegia, and yeah, share your experience with me. Write down in the comments what do you think about these methods of propagation, or how you have propagated your plants. And let's stay passionate about plants. See you next time.